Every morning, a little boy named Liam would point at his stepdad, Ryan, and cry. His mom, Sophia, felt worried and confused because she didn't know why Liam was acting this way. So, she decided to put a camera in Liam's room to find out what was happening. One morning started like any other in their home, apartment 3B in the Cypress Grove building. Sophia was in the kitchen making breakfast. She was singing softly and trying to make everything feel normal. The smell of coffee and toast filled the air as the sunlight shone through the windows. She put pancakes on a plate, decorating each one with fruits that made smiley faces. "Liam, sweetheart, breakfast is ready," she called. Liam, wearing dinosaur pajamas, walked into the kitchen. His messy brown hair and big, curious eyes made Sophia smile. She bent down and kissed his forehead. "Good morning, my love. Did you sleep well?" she asked. Liam nodded but stayed quiet as he climbed into his chair. He didn't talk much these days, and it made Sophia sad. Soon, Ryan walked into the kitchen, dressed nicely for work. "Good morning, my favorite people," he said cheerfully. But as soon as Liam saw Ryan, he froze. Then, he pointed at Ryan, started trembling, and tears filled his eyes. "No," Liam said softly, his voice shaking. Then he cried harder. Sophia quickly hugged Liam. "What's wrong, my love?" "It's okay," she said. But this had been happening every morning for 3 months. Ryan stood by the door, looking sad and confused. "I'll leave now," Ryan said quietly, grabbing his keys and briefcase before walking out. The door closed behind him, and the house felt heavy with worry. Sophia rocked Liam in her arms until he stopped crying. Her heart ached. She remembered how a year ago, Liam's dad, Daniel, had died in a car accident. Losing Daniel was the hardest thing ever, and explaining it to Liam had been even harder. But then, Ryan came into their lives. He was kind, patient, and always nice to Liam. For a while, it seemed like things were getting better. "Liam, sweetheart," Sophia said gently. "Can you tell Mommy why you're scared of Ryan?" Liam shook his head. "Has Ryan ever done anything to scare you?" she asked. Again, Liam shook his head. He wouldn't say anything else. Later that day, Sophia took Liam to daycare. "Good morning, Miss Carter," the daycare teacher, Lisa, greeted them. Lisa was kind and always smiled warmly. After Liam went to play, Sophia talked to Lisa. She explained how worried she was about Liam. Lisa listened carefully. "Honestly, Liam seems fine here," Lisa said. "He plays with the other kids, eats his snacks, and seems happy. But maybe you should talk to a child psychologist. Sometimes kids have feelings they don't know how to talk about." Sophia nodded. She had already made an appointment with Dr. Patterson, a psychologist, for the next week. But her worry didn't go away. At work, Sophia couldn't concentrate. Her job as a book editor needed a lot of focus, but her thoughts kept going back to Liam. Her phone buzzed with a message from Ryan. "Asterisk, how's Liam? Do you want me to pick him up?" Asterisk, she felt a little guilty. Ryan was always kind, and she felt bad for doubting him. She replied, "I'll get him." That afternoon, when Sophia picked up Liam, he seemed cheerful. He told her about a drawing he made and how he shared cookies with his best friend Jack. Everything seemed fine until they got home. Ryan was in the living room when they walked in. He smiled softly at Liam. But as soon as Liam saw him, he hid behind Sophia's legs, pointed at Ryan, and started crying again. "Liam, please," Sophia said, trying to calm him. "Ryan won't hurt you." But Liam stayed scared and wouldn't come out of his room while Ryan was home. After Ryan went to bed, Sophia tucked Liam in and gently stroked his hair. "You know I love you more than anything in the world, right?" she whispered. Liam nodded sleepily. "Then why do you cry when you see Ryan?" Liam stayed quiet for a long time. Then, in a tiny voice, he said something that shocked Sophia. "The bad man comes when you're not here, Mommy." Sophia felt her heart stop. What did Liam mean? She hugged him tightly and stayed by his side until he fell asleep. The next day, after Ryan left for work, Sophia decided she needed to find out what was going on. She ordered a small hidden camera online. When it arrived, she placed it carefully in Liam's room between his stuffed toys. The camera would let her watch everything on her phone. That night, Sophia stared at the camera feed on her phone, determined to find the truth. What was happening when she wasn't around? She needed to know, no matter what it might show. Sophia sat quietly on the edge of Liam's bed, whispering to herself, "What am I doing?" She sank down, feeling tired and confused. As if he could feel her feelings, Liam stirred in his sleep. His little face frowned slightly. Sophia gently touched his cheek, remembering the nights when he was a baby, sleeping peacefully in her arms. Life felt so much simpler back then. That afternoon, Sophia and Liam spent time together. They baked cookies, watched cartoons, and built towers with blocks. For a little while, it felt like they were just a mom and her son having fun. But as the sun went down, Sophia started to feel nervous. Ryan, Liam's dad, would be home soon, and the worry crept back into her heart. Liam looked up while they cleaned up the toys. "Is Daddy coming home soon?" he asked. Sophia smiled softly. "Would you like to sleep in Mommy's room tonight?" she asked, trying to keep her voice light, even though she felt a heavy weight in her chest. Liam's eyes lit up with excitement. "Really?" "Yes. We can make a blanket fort and tell stories. And I won't have to sleep in my room." "That's right, sweetheart. You don't have to sleep in your room tonight," Sophia said, stroking his hair. Later, when Ryan came home, he found Sophia and Liam cuddled on the couch watching a children's movie. Ryan held up a pizza box with a smile. "I brought pepperoni pizza, Liam. Your favorite." Liam didn't say anything. He hugged Sophia's arm tightly and didn't let go. "Liam's sleeping with me tonight," Sophia said calmly. "We're making a little camp in my room." Ryan hesitated for a moment. "Sure, that sounds fun. Do you want me to join you?" "No," Liam cried out, his voice trembling. He pointed his small finger at Ryan. "No, no, no." Sophia quickly held Liam closer. "It's best if it's just the two of us tonight," she said firmly. That night, after Liam fell asleep on the makeshift bed of pillows and blankets they made together, Sophia couldn't sleep. She stared at the ceiling, her thoughts racing. In the room next door, she could hear Ryan moving around, probably working on his laptop. Her phone rested on the pillow beside her. The camera app was open, showing a silent live view of Liam's room. "Tomorrow," she whispered into the dark, not sure who she was talking to. "Tomorrow, I'll figure this out." The next morning, Sophia walked into her office at the publishing house, holding a big cup of coffee. Her assistant, Olivia, greeted her. "Good morning, Sophia. Anything new?" "The 10 o'clock meeting was canceled," Olivia replied, following her to her desk. Then, she frowned. "Are you okay? You look tired." Sophia gave a weak smile. "I didn't sleep well." "Liam." She stopped, not finishing her sentence. "Is everything getting worse?" Olivia asked softly. Sophia sighed and turned on her computer. "Yes, worse." Her phone buzzed with a notification, showing the camera feed working perfectly. She hesitated before turning back to Olivia. "Actually, I need a favor. If anyone asks, especially Ryan, tell them I had an urgent meeting with an author. Something I couldn't reschedule." Olivia looked confused. "But the meeting was canceled." "I know," Sophia interrupted. "Just cover for me, please." Olivia sat across from Sophia, looking serious. "Are you okay? Do you need help?" For a moment, Sophia thought about telling her everything, about the camera, her fears, and Liam's words. But how could she explain spying on the man who had once been so kind and caring? Instead, she forced a smile. "I'm fine. I just need to figure some things out." By 9:30 a.m., Sophia was sitting in a cozy coffee shop across the street, her laptop open in front of her. From her seat, she could see her phone, showing the live feed of Liam's room. The toys were still neatly arranged from the night before. The waiter, Noah, brought her coffee with a warm smile. "The usual?" he asked. "Yes, please. And maybe some croissants," Sophia said, her hands trembling slightly as she checked the camera feed. The hours passed slowly. Sophia switched between work documents and nervously watching the live feed. Each time the screen flickered, her heart raced. Ryan had dropped Liam off at daycare earlier and was supposed to pick him up at noon. At 12:15, the door to Liam's room opened. Sophia's hand jerked, nearly spilling her coffee. "Everything okay?" Noah asked, noticing her startled expression. Sophia didn't answer. She leaned closer to her phone screen. On the feed, Liam sat on the floor, playing quietly with his toy blocks. Ryan walked in carefully. Liam glanced up but didn't move closer. His eyes followed Ryan's movements. "Do you want to have lunch together, buddy?" Ryan asked softly. Liam shook his head firmly. "I made your favorite nuggets," Ryan said again. Liam whispered, barely audible, I want my mom. Sophia's heart ached. Was she making a mistake? Should she be at home, protecting her son, instead of watching from afar? The afternoon felt long and uneventful. Ryan tried to connect with Liam, but the boy refused and stayed quiet, retreating into his own world. Sophia's coffee went cold as she kept watching. At 3:45, Ryan came back into Liam's room. This time he walked straight to the closet. Sophia's breath caught. What was he doing? She leaned closer to her phone, trying not to miss anything. Ryan opened the closet and pulled out something. It was a photo album. He sat on the edge of Liam's bed, holding it gently. No, 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 Liam murmured, clutching his stuffed dinosaur tightly. Liam. Ryan's voice was soft. Do you want to look at the pictures again? Sophia's heart raced as she froze in place. Her hands were shaking, and she could hardly believe what was happening. Liam, her little boy, was pointing at Ryan with a trembling finger. I don't want to, Liam cried, tears streaming down his face. But Ryan opened a photo album anyway and said gently, Here's a picture of your dad on your 3rd birthday. Do you remember that day? You had a dinosaur cake. Sophia accidentally dropped her phone. The loud sound made people in the cafe turn and look at her. A man named Mr. Noah walked over, his face full of concern. Are you okay, Mrs. Sophia? He asked. But Sophia couldn't answer. She was too shaken. She bent down to pick up her phone, her hands trembling. On the screen, Ryan was still showing photos to Liam, who was crying harder now. Why? Liam sobbed, his small voice filled with sadness. Ryan's own voice cracked as he replied, Because she isn't here anymore, Liam. Sometimes sad things happen, but your dad loved you so much. He just wanted you to be happy. Sophia's mind was spinning. The pictures, the tears, everything was starting to connect in a way she hadn't expected. She suddenly stood up, almost knocking over her chair. I need to go home, she whispered. Sophia, Mr. Noah called after her. The bill. Tomorrow, she shouted back, already running for the door. As she drove home, her vision blurred with tears, and she had to stop the car several times. Liam's words kept echoing in her head. The bad man comes when you're not here, Mom. When she finally got home, she found Ryan and Liam sitting on the bed. The photo album was open between them. Ryan was whispering something to Liam, who was still crying. When they saw Sophia, both looked up. Liam's cheeks were red and wet from tears, and Ryan's face was heavy with guilt. I think, Sophia began softly, her voice trembling. We need to talk. She stood in the doorway, her eyes flicking between them and the open album. She saw a photo she recognized immediately. Her late husband Daniel holding a baby Liam at the hospital. Liam, sweetheart, Sophia said carefully as she approached. Could you go visit Mrs. Bennett for a little while? Mrs. Bennett, their kind neighbor, had always been there for them. Liam hesitated, looking at his mom, then at Ryan, and finally at the album. Are you going to make him leave? Liam asked in a quiet voice. Who, honey? Sophia asked gently. The man who brings Dad back, Liam said, his small voice breaking Sophia's heart. No, love, Sophia replied, kneeling by the bed. I just need to talk to Ryan for a bit. Can you be brave and go see Mrs. Bennett? I think she has those chocolates you like. After Liam left, Sophia turned back to Ryan. He hadn't moved, his hand still on the album like it was something fragile. Since when? Sophia asked, sitting down in a chair across from him. Ryan sighed deeply. Since the beginning, he admitted. The first time Liam saw me, he cried. I thought he was scared of me, but then I found this. He gestured to the album. It was hidden in his closet. He must have put it there. Sophia's chest tightened. She remembered hiding that album after Daniel's funeral, unable to look at it without breaking down. Why didn't you tell me? What was I supposed to say? Ryan asked, meeting her gaze. Hey, Sophia, I found your late husband's album and started showing it to your son while you were out. Yes, Sophia snapped, standing abruptly. That's exactly what you should have said. Ryan shook his head, his voice steady. You were protecting him. I get that. Sophia sat down again, her anger fading into exhaustion. Why does he cry when he sees you? Ryan opened the album, carefully flipping through the pages. Because I remind him of his dad, he said quietly. Not how I look, but because I brought back these memories. The first time I showed him these photos, he cried so much. He missed his dad. Now, every time he sees me, he remembers that sadness. Sophia looked at the album and touched a picture of Daniel holding a laughing toddler Liam. Do you tell him stories about these? Yes, Ryan replied. I tell him everything I can. Sometimes I even make up little details to make him smile. But you didn't even know Daniel, Sophia exclaimed. Ryan stood suddenly and walked to the window. There's something I need to tell you, he said, his voice trembling. Before he could continue, there was a knock at the door. It was Mrs. Bennett. Sophia, Liam's asking for you, she called. Sophia looked at Ryan. What were you going to say? Ryan sighed heavily. Let's check on Liam first. We'll talk later. When they found Liam, he was on Mrs. Bennett's couch, drawing a picture. What are you drawing, sweetheart? Sophia asked. Liam held it up. It was a picture of their family. Sophia, Liam, Ryan, and Daniel. Why is one man erased? Sophia asked gently. That's Dad, Liam said quietly. He's not here anymore. Ryan knelt beside Liam. Liam, do you know why you cry when you see me? He asked softly. Liam nodded. Because you bring Dad back. But it hurts here, he said, pointing to his chest. Oh, my love, Sophia said, pulling Liam into a hug. It's okay to feel sad, but it's also okay to feel happy when we think of Dad. Ryan reached into his pocket and pulled out a photo. Would you like to see something special? He asked Liam. The picture showed two young men smiling. One was Daniel, and the other was Ryan. That's Dad, Liam said. Yes, Ryan said, smiling sadly. Your dad and I were best friends in college. Sophia stared at the picture, shocked. Why didn't you tell me? Ryan looked at her, his eyes full of emotion. Because I didn't know how. The truth hung between them like a heavy cloud. But in that moment, Sophia knew they had to face it together as a family. If you enjoyed this story and would like to see more content like it, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel. By subscribing, you'll stay updated on all our latest, inspiring and heartwarming stories and have the opportunity to engage with our growing community. Additionally, I would love to hear your thoughts and feedback in the comment section below. Thank you for your support, and I look forward to sharing more captivating narratives with you.